Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report, and I'm here in Marlborough, Massachusetts with Linda for it's our first major sports show of the year that we're doing, representing our area here with a booth in one of the big sports centers. And one of the things that I've noticed, Linda, when we talk to one of our friends that comes from another area for their booth, he had mentioned to us how this last year his fishing in New England was really, really tough for him. Remember, he said every time he went out and fished a tournament, he was having terrible time because the waters were so warm, the fish were reacting differently.
Yeah, I remember that.
And this really struck a note with me. One of the things that we do offer people that come to our area to fish and vacation is that we don't have those extremes. And those extremes can really make a difference. For example, our waters are I guess, notoriously all the time colder than in so many other areas because our climate is more moderate where we are. Mm-hmm. We don't get a lot of those extremes. And we don't realize that for anglers that come here, they're fishing colder waters and the fish are more comfortable. And, I think this is a big part of what we have. And I never thought of this before. When he told me how tough his fishing had been because of the warm waters last summer,
I wonder if it has something to do with the depth of the water body in which he's fishing. In other words, when southern anglers come up for the tournaments, oftentimes they have to fish the St. Lawrence, for instance, at great depths.
Well, that's true. The deeper the water, obviously, it's going to hold the colder temperatures, and that's why trout gravitate to those levels. And
bass.
Yeah, and so this is something I wanted all of us to think about, the fact that those people's, now we're talking about people that are fishing at the same latitude as us over in New England. We're not talking about people coming up from the south.
True, but perhaps their rivers and their rivers and their lakes might not be at the same depth as, say, the St. Lawrence River.
No, they're not going to be like the St. Lawrence, but I even include our smaller waters. I don't remember people complaining like that about fishing Black Lake or some of our inland waters. The same as
You're right.
This is really interesting.
Yeah.
So it's again for people that are interested in fishing. It's important to realize there's so many factors that can make or break the fishing as being good or bad, and one of them is temperature. Temperature is so critical to all of us. We hear so many people say, oh, they're sweltering in the summer and they can't take the heat. And it's the same thing with other organisms. The fish want to gravitate towards that comfort level that makes them most active and makes them feel the best.
The cooler environs of the deeper waters.
Well, in some cases, yes. But anyway, folks, this is Don and Linda with the North Country Fishing Report from Marlborough, Massachusetts.